Way better?
Yeah.
All right, you're live.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm just going to share this here. So we're live. Jamie, did you want to get started?
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Okay, Nistu Nadanako Ahksistowaki. Hello, all my relations. My name is Jamie Medicine Crane. My traditional name is Brave Woman. And I'd like to welcome you for this wellness hour with us. There's 4 of us that are going to be hosting this session. We're just having our other member connecting as well. So I'll let the other 2 introduce themselves while we're waiting for her to get connected.
Hey guys, so my name is Jubilee Cardinal. I'm one of the 4 that did the vlog. I'm from Treaty 6 and it's good to be doing this with you guys. And I tend to laugh a lot, I giggle.
Tanse, good morning or good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amanda Gould. I am from Fort McMurray First Nation. My mom is Lena Cree, also from Fort McMurray First Nation. And my dad is Mike White, and he is from BC. I currently live in Edmonton right now. And yeah, I've been a part of this a part of advocating for missing and murdered Indigenous women for about 10, I can't remember how many years, like 10 to 12 years that I've been involved. But I do have 2 children, my son who is 22 and my daughter who is 20. One lives in Calgary, the other one in Edmonton, and I'm proud of them both. And hopefully I will be a puppy mommy soon as well. Yeah, so that's a little bit about myself and where I come from. And so I'll pass it on to MJ to introduce herself since she's connected now.
Hi, Tansei, Mary Jo Badger, and Ntsigo Sun, Sturgeon Lake, Virginia. So my name is Mary Jo Badger. I come from Northern Alberta. My nation is Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation. Are we just, sorry, came in late. What are we?
We're introduced
just a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. And why we, what else? Just that part?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys. And I'm Nihil Isqueo. I'm and I guess in English it would be Cree, but within the language it's actually Nihil, and Isqueo is for woman, so Cree woman. I think that's it for me. Oh, and yes, I have 2 children as well. I have a 15-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. And I currently reside in Amisquichy, Wisconsin, in the Edmonton area. So, okay, now I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you. We'd like to start the session off in a good way. And I'm going to actually pass it back to Mary Jo to start with us prayer and some good energy to get going. And then, yeah, so back to you, Mary Jo.
Okay. All right. So for me, whenever I want to start something in a good way and when I just want to bring that positive energy, I did before coming on, but I will burn some more just for everybody who is in attendance and for my sisters. So I am going to be lighting some sage here. Just for those prayers. And also I'm going to be lighting, I went picking just the other weekend from the north where I come from, and I was able to actually harvest fungus, and that's what we use up north. So I'm going to burn a little bit of that for all our prayers and our thoughts, and to be doing this in a good way. So while I'm doing that, I will say the prayer. So, Kisi Mantu, Creator, it is I, Mary Jo, one of your daughters. Creator, I ask that we come together today and we can share our good words, our good thoughts, and our feelings, and that all those that are in attendance and those seeking prayers and have something to bring forward, that we are able to listen in that good way. Creator, I am thankful for my life and for another day on Turtle Island and on this earth. Creator, I am thankful for our children, my children, and that we can continue to live in a way that encourages growth and just growth of our languages, our people, and just for our lives. And I thank you for the sisters that you've brought into my life, and for my brothers, and for the teachings. And I hope that I can continue to do this in a good way and a positive way. I thank you.
Hi.
Thank you to everyone who's just joining us. My name again, my traditional name is Ahksistowaki, Jamie Medicine Crane. I come from the Blackfoot people of Southern Alberta in Treaty 7 territory, Kainai and Piikani nations. And it's such an honor to be here with all of you and to be able to walk this journey with you today. We woke up this morning with snow falling on the ground, and it's Mother Nature's way of showing us that there's changes all around. And so before we get into anything else, I'm gonna play an honor song on my flute to honor the land that we're on, to honor all of you that are joining in with us today, my sisters that are guiding this hour together, this wellness hour together, and also to those people that can't join us today, and sending out prayers and blessings to everybody that's going through, whether it's suffering or grief or anything today, and sending you good prayers and love. Thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. May I introduce yourself?
Okay. So again, my name is Jubilee Cardinal. I'm a mixed breed. I'm Cree and I have a little bit of Blackfoot in me. I'm registered under South Lake First Nation, Treaty 6. I currently live in Edmonton and I have a 5-year-old son who's currently preoccupied on the tablet. But like Jamie said, it does feel pretty awesome to be here and to do this with you guys.
So we envisioned that this hour would be kind of like The View, but Indigenous style. So we all have our drink. So Jubilee has some water, coffee. And so we're gonna just kind of have conversation about the work that we're doing, the work that we have done, and the work that we're looking at seeing in the future, and how we could get everybody, I guess, walking with us in our journey as well. So who would like to start?
I can start.
Okay.
Okay, so we did have some questions already, so I've been writing them down. So after we do a little bit of an explanation of everything, I think that'll be a good time to start with the questions. So I feel like I'm the moderator, like Whoopi Goldberg. Just kidding.
You're a good moderator.
So yeah, like I said earlier, my name is Amanda Gould. I'm from Treaty 8 territory, residing in Treaty 6. And these are my beautiful sisters. And we come from different areas. None of us are from the same community, which I think is a blessing because we get to bring so many different views together. Like I said, I had been involved with the missing and murdered Indigenous women for over 12 years, but that's just advocating. My experiences is what led me to get involved and speak up. I had some childhood experiences, like where I was kidnapped and locked in a basement when I was a child for quite a bit. And then also I was in an abusive relationship, stalked for many years, where my daughter and I were in physical danger and I had to give her away to other people to care for her so that she wasn't harmed because the stalking wouldn't stop. And I didn't have protection from the police. And there was a lot of other things that led me to living on the streets, actually, because of all the stalking and stuff, and I didn't have anywhere safe to go. So I lived on the streets for quite a while. And so I got myself together, like finally the person was put into prison and I had a 5-year restraining order finally. And I was able to get my life together. And it was in my first year of university when I watched a documentary about missing and murdered Indigenous women. And that is when the Native Women's Association of Canada had a report out that there was, I think it was 500 women that were murdered or missing in Canada back at that time. And that's when I knew I needed to do something. I knew that I wasn't alone. That's when I really knew that I wasn't alone. That the treatment that I received as an Indigenous woman, I knew wouldn't happen to somebody who was non-Indigenous. It wouldn't have happened to that white neighbor I had next door. Like she wouldn't have had her door kicked in multiple times with nothing happening like I had. And so that's when I knew I needed to speak up and say something and have some sort of action. And it was funny because right after watching this documentary and I'm like all motivated to get involved, we had a woman from Amnesty International come into our student lounge and asked for help to get set up for a Sisters in Spirit visual. She had no idea. She wasn't Indigenous. She's like, this is happening here. Let's get involved. And so we started our first Sisters in Spirit visual in Canada or in Edmonton. And we read off the names of all the women that had been murdered or missing, and it was really powerful, and it was really the start of acknowledging my past and starting my healing journey. And from there, it really grew. And so that's how I got involved. It's a lot of personal experiences and not wanting harm to come to other women. Since then, it has only grown the momentum for creating awareness. And we had our Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's, well, they put out a report, Calls to Justice. What was that? When they were doing the inquiry, they were doing an inquiry. And so then they put out the calls to justice, but we really don't see much of that action happening yet. And during a pandemic, I don't think we will, because our people are always put on the back burner when it comes to fulfilling justice roles. And I don't like the word justice in a Canadian term, because putting people in jail does not solve the problem. And there's a deeper issue. It's systemic racism, oppression, everything. So there's a lot of roots to it. So anyway, that's just how I got involved. A lot of personal experiences. And yeah, and I don't think I'm alone in that. So I will pass it on. And yeah, and then we'll go into the questions. So who wants to go next? Is that a Jamie nod?
So, I kind of always wanted to do stuff with this, like this cause and stuff. I just wasn't brave enough growing up, or just stuck in my own stuff, because I was also had a traumatic childhood, raised by the system, in and out, and just like that pain, kind of like knowing that I could get out of that rut. I just want to help others of feeling that, or just like be with them, or listen to them, or talk to them. Right now I'm doing my nursing. So when I'm done with that, hopefully I want to like further on my education, help with young Indigenous youth and adults when they come into the city, when they're dealing with traumatic experiences, like where I could do help with rape kits and stuff. When I was younger, I was left raped and dead on my reserve when I was younger. I think I was about 13. And then after that, I kind of just like went downhill, dropped out of school, and having like the support from my friends and family and stuff like that along the way kind of got me to be a little bit stronger. And that's why I want to do what I do and help with my sisters and what we can do and voice and try and get this heard and stuff, because I don't know, I just want to get emotional. And I giggle a lot, especially when it's like serious, or I'm getting in trouble or whatever, or I want to cry. I giggle, but like laughter is part of healing.
Yeah, laughter is medicine, for sure. Do you want to go, Mary Jo, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I can go. Why I am involved is, why not, right? So I myself, in my experience growing up, like I grew up in a not a safe environment, and made some not great choices on my own part, and then put myself in some risky situations at some points. And those were scary experiences. And looking back at that, you know, I'm thankful I'm here, and that there's a way for me to get out. And you know, I reflect back on that, and I acknowledge that some of our people, our women and our men, that they didn't get that, and that, you know, I think that's one thing that stays with me, and that there needs to be awareness, because I know in my life, I have 3 people that when we went on this walk that I prayed for and that I thought of, and part of that awareness is, saying their name, because those lives matter, and that, they were taken from us, they were stolen. And so like when I did this walk, I did it for my cousin Bella, and I did it for my cousin Gabe, and I did it for my friend Laura Lee. Because all those people matter, just like everybody else who are unfortunately on those lists, and for their families, because everybody has a story, everybody has a purpose here, and that's why I'm involved, that our people matter. And yeah.
So for me, like the ladies, we all have our own experiences and stories. And for me, like just listening to a lot of women, not just Indigenous women, women all over the world talk about their experiences, about violence, and about patriarchy, and how it has affected our women and our society as a whole. And for me, when I was quite young, my mom and my aunties always told me, be careful, be careful where you go. Always make sure you're watching where you go. And I really didn't understand what they were talking about. And I really didn't understand why they were saying that. But my mom and dad always told me, be careful where you go, always watch. So when I was probably about, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years old, one of my cousins went missing, and they came back to the family and they said that she had died and she choked on her own vomit. And later on, we found out that she was a part of a serial killer that was going across Canada, and they wrote a book about it, Just Another Indian. And my cousin Mary Jane passed away, and unfortunately at that age I didn't have the opportunity of meeting her, but she was a part of my life, my entire life. And it wasn't until I was probably in my early 20s is when I started advocating for missing and murdered Indigenous women, just having more impact around me and seeing it. And at one time, I just thought it was something that you seen on TV, or, you heard through other people. And then it started happening to our family, and I started learning more about missing and murdered Indigenous people, not just our women, but everybody that has been impacted right since the beginning of colonization, and the impact of contact, and how our women have been viewed right since the beginning. And so with my journey, I think when I really first started advocating for it was when I joined the YWCA as a board member. I was a board member at the local YWCA Lethbridge. And then I started advocating more and more for women and girls, and learning more about women and girls around the globe, and the impact that that our women and girls have had from patriarchy around the world and colonialism. And so as I continued my journey and started learning more, it just made me more and more passionate. And then having family members pass away from it, and being directly impacted from the violence really made me want to help give those that have gone missing or that that have got murdered, to give them a voice, and also to show the families that they too have a voice and that they could share it. So a lot of the work that I do, I've been advocating for probably 20 years now. I just aged myself. But it's, it's a very, sorry, it's a very important cause, and that we all feel very passionate about it, and it's impacted all of our lives very much. So let's answer some questions, Amanda. Let's see what's going on.
Yes. So I think we should just fill people in a little bit more. We did just do a walk from Red Deer, Alberta to Calgary, and joined a group in Calgary that walked from, where did they start their walk from?
Picanee.
Picanee. And they walked to Calgary. And so we met in Calgary and then walked within Calgary together. And we walked 152 kilometers. One question was, how do we get involved? And that is from Gail Haggerty. She said, thank you very much. And how do we get involved? So I guess I'll start with answering that.
Right.
Guys. Okay, so we will be starting a Facebook group page right away. First, before we start planning next year, is we are going to go into ceremony and have a ceremony to gather together to start our planning for next year. And then, like, that's key for all of us. We all agree upon that ceremony is so important to all of us. So we're going to start in that way. Things have just been really chaotic since we've gotten back, and the snow is just starting to fall, so it's not safe to drive today. But we will be starting off with ceremony, and then we will be starting a Facebook group page in where we will be asking people to help. We're going to be, because we're hoping a lot more people will be coming, and we'll be walking from Edmonton into Calgary, which is like a 3-hour drive, so it's a lot of kilometers. Well, we will be collecting donations to help with hotel rooms, mileage, meals, and all of that. So we will be doing that as well, and we'll be asking for like other people to join us in a walk. And maybe if you're from the States or whatever, maybe you can do a walk in your community as well on this at the same time. I know from my experience of walking that it felt like our sisters were carrying us. And I think we could share a little bit about how we had bruises and stuff on our bodies, these unexplained bruises, but we know, I know there were times when we felt no pain, when it didn't hurt, when we could run, speed walk, and just keep going. And that was when our relatives, our ancestors, the people that passed on, the people that we were walking for, were carrying us through those hard times to help us get through, to show us that they were there with us. And so I think it's just really important to mention that, because we weren't alone on that walk. And so we'll be asking others to join us though. Maybe look for a few runners to take on. I decided I'm going to try running part of the way. I love running. Like, I really love running. So I think I'm going to be running part of it. I think I would like.
Actually got me running.
I know. I know. Running is good for the soul. We were running uphill and then sang a song uphill. And then we were wondering why we were out of breath. So does anybody have any other ideas on how other people can get involved?
That would be cool though, if there was, like how you said, the states would start a walk at the same time. That'd be cool if we had like other surrounding communities, like reserves, because I know there's a couple that are close to Calgary area and Edmonton area. That'd be really cool, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
that was like really neat. Like while we were doing our walk, there were other walkers, and Mary Jo could talk about the ones from the north, but I do know that there was a group from Musquecheese walking to Wetaskiwin during the same time. So just bringing that awareness in your community that you don't have to join us on the highway, but if you do want to join us on the highway, please do join us and take some of the kilometers, you know, for our sisters and brothers. The reason why we're doing this, to bring that awareness. And it's really healing. Like as we were walking on the highway, I thought about all those women and girls and men that walked that highway before, and some of them never made it to their destination. And, you know, like Amanda said, like those times where we felt like really tired, that was when we felt our sisters carrying us and just gave us that extra boost of energy. And then we just kept going, which was like, when we got to Calgary Saturday night, we said we want to try to get there before the sun goes down. And Mary Jo and Jubilee were just giving her at the end, you know, wanted to get there at the end. And, you know, like it was like we got there and it was so beautiful, you know, that feeling. And then to have Gail and Val join us from Enoch and join us from, where did they join us again? Bowden, yes. Bowden. And then walked with us all the way to Calgary and then joined us for the march on Sunday down to City Hall where they had the event. It was so powerful, just being able to share this with my sisters. And like we mentioned, we're like from all different communities and nations representing Treaty 6, 7, and 8.
But we just stopped when we got to Calgary.
That's true.
We got some coffee and then joined the South group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coffee was much needed.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm re-addicted to tea as well.
For sure.
I think what we called this walk about the North meeting South. So when Jamie first brought that question forward as to anyone wanting to walk, it's in relation to, well, her relations down south from Peekany. Stephanie had actually put it out there that she was wanting other nations to participate and to walk. And I remember when I was talking with Stephanie, that she said that this was her dream, that's what she wanted to see, that all directions come and do this walk. And I remember when I was talking to her, she said how that assisted her in her walking, knowing that she had the support and knowing that other nations were participating in this. It made her stronger in that walk. And same for us. I know for me, knowing that we're able to share this journey with the South, but also with the further north, like Jamie was saying. I know in northern Alberta, this is like way northern Alberta, but towards John Doerr and High Level, those sisters started a 5-day walk. Because over in northern Alberta, there's a lot of highway and not enough towns. So they started their walk, and then it went over 5 days, whereas ours was over 2. And I think what the hope is for next year is that possibly our east and our west will start a walk and all 4 directions meet up in Calgary. That would be such a blessing. And just that opportunity, when we had support on the highway, people would come and stop and they would walk with us. and they would talk and tell their stories and their experiences and why they're doing the walk with us. That was also encouraging, I felt. And
Mhm.
yeah, I thought that was such a huge part in lifting up, I don't know, lifting us up while we were doing that, because it is a sacrifice. And nothing like we were blessed with the weather. We were very blessed.
Yeah. Because last year when Stephanie and my Auntie Patsy walked from the south, it was snowing, and it snowed a good, I'm going to say, couple centimeters last year when they did the walk. So yeah, definitely we were blessed with good weather, and Gukamiki-san, the moon, our grandmother moon, we started walking on the full moon, which was such a blessing to have her walk us and lead us that first morning we started our walk.
Yeah. Yeah. I know as soon as we got in the car and started on our way back to Calgary, or to Edmonton from Calgary, it started raining. And then it rained the next day. And so I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, we were truly blessed and watched over on our walk. And I think it would be really great if we could all kind of join together and have a couple pages that were linked together so that our walks and journeys could all be shared. And it was also really nice to have that young man come and stop and ask questions about missing and murdered Indigenous people. Like he didn't have very much information on it. He knew something was going on. He wrote a song about it, but he didn't really know all the details and the facts. So I thought it was really great. And I just on that point, I want to bring up that we don't have official numbers. You know what I mean? Like a lot of our women and our people that have been murdered are considered suspicious or suicides, and they aren't in the Canadian societies. They're the westernized form of homicide, you know, so their numbers aren't counted, and we don't have official numbers shared with us every year. You know, it's been since the 2012 RCMP report that we've had the 1,100 and I think it's 80 missing and murdered Indigenous women report. So we don't have official numbers, and we don't have, but we're all affected. And that's the thing, is that you can't go anywhere into an Indigenous community or to meet with an Indigenous person who knows their relatives, because not all of them do. Who knows their relatives and that can say that they know that a family member that's been murdered or missing. And so it's such an epidemic, and there still isn't enough done to our society to change the ways in which we are protected and respected in the way that we should be. Right?
For sure.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know. Sorry, going a little off.
No worries. I think that it's good. Like we're all kind of contributing like our own perspectives and experiences, and you know, we're having this conversation, you know, and what's coming up while we speak to each other. And yeah, is there any questions that we should be asking or answering?
There's a lot of thank yous. Laughter is medicine. There's a lot of Miigwech. I'm sorry if I can't say your language. I can barely speak Cree. I'm still trying here.
Me too.
Yeah, okay, Blackfoot. No, she's deadly.
I'm double deadly.
Yeah. There's a lot of people watching and just sharing where they're from and that they're watching. One person here, maybe each group walking can log in to a group Zoom and live stream to one place, multiple walks, just like this.
Yeah,
like different walkers.
that'd be cool. Yeah, having them all over.
Yeah, I think that's a really great idea, and maybe we can get somebody to do that technical work.
For sure.
we're good at communication, but we're not.
Yeah, anyone who wants to join us that could do the technical stuff, please do.
Yes. Yeah.
We're looking for people that want to help volunteer their time, and we're very grateful for everyone who has up to this point. And it just came, it just started with an idea and then sharing amongst sisters, and then it just became reality. And I was like, oh my gosh, now we have to walk. What did I start? But I really did want to meet my family, because my family had been doing it for the past 3 years. And I moved up to Edmonton probably about 6 years ago, and I haven't had the opportunity to walk with them. So last year, my niece and I talked about it, and she moved home. And so I was medicine picking with Mary Jo and some other ladies, and we brought it up. And then I started talking to Jubilee and Amanda, and then everything just started going. And we didn't go ahead with our planning until we got the go ahead in ceremony. That was something that we all felt very passionate about, that we needed to have, that go ahead from our ancestors and from the spirits to guide us in the walk that we chose to do. So we only had like a week, we started, we did it on Sunday, and then Amanda was probably like the day before we left.
For her shoes.
Her runners.
So then the whole car had to buy new shoes.
And I ended up just wearing my fancy shoes anyway. My fancy Pumas.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was great, because I remember seeing your post saying that you wanted to do this, Jamie. And I remember saying, oh, maybe I'll have some time. And then I deleted Facebook, like I deactivated Facebook. And then I got a call and I was like, oh, okay, I think I have the weekend free. Yeah.
And then as soon as we got the go ahead, I told Jubilee and Mary Jo, I'm going to make 4 skirts. I'm going to make 4 hoodies so that we could all match. I don't know who the 4th person is, but that 4th person's going to come in. And sure enough, the day before we left, Amanda's like, yeah, let's go, without a hesitation. And I think that I want to thank all of you, because, this wouldn't have been possible without you, and, the support that each of you give me in every part of my life. I feel so blessed to have sisters like you to walk this road with me, and to walk Highway 2.
And we did it in ribbon skirts too.
Yeah, we all wore ribbon skirts the entire way. And some days it was really hot, but it felt really good to be under Natusi, the sun, to be giving us that light in our raccoon eyes. But I also want to just thank the Native Wellness Institute for hosting this week. They hosted this all week, and they do this like every day, Native Wellness Power, every Wednesday actually, and 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and noon Pacific time. So if you're just, wanting to watch something that's really inspiring, I had the opportunity to be a part of a past episode with them. We talked about healing and how we use our arts for healing. And I talked about like the flute and how it helps me heal. And I think that that's really important, like in this journey that we're doing, that we have those different, I guess, outlets in order to help us heal, whether it's like playing music, whether it's writing or beading or, drawing, our arts are really healing. Like everything that we do through arts, we get those messages from the higher power creator, and we get those messages from our ancestors and spirits that we need to share with each other. And you know, like when I play my flute, or when I dance, you know, like I was taught that we need to do it for others that cannot, and I really hold that to, you know, to my heart when I do that, is that when I play my flute or I'm dancing, I do it for healing, not only for myself, but for all those that are around me, all those that can't dance or can't, you know, do the music, and maybe inspire others to, you know, to go out if they can. And so we all have our own ways of healing, and maybe we could have kind of a couple comments around what do we do to do some healing in our lives, because you know, like this work that we're doing is really heavy work, and we have to be able to continue to live our lives in a good way, and in a healthy way. So a part of that is recognizing our feelings, but also how are we healing through this journey. So I'll leave it up to who wants to start with that. Couple comments or.
Yeah, totally. So healing, that never stops, never stops. And there's always so much going on in life. For me, number one is ceremony, going to ceremony, smudging, praying, singing. Those are all really key. Beading and sewing. Sewing is my therapy, but that's why I'm moving, is so I have room to sew. But yeah, sewing is my therapy. I love sewing, but I haven't been able to do that very much since I've had to start working from home with COVID, because I had to bring my office into my sewing space. And so I'll be doing that again. And then I'm also in school to be an art therapist, an Indigenous art therapist. And so drawing and painting and things like that has also helped with my healing. And when you guys went on your walk and stuff like that, after we finished our march, I did some drawings, and I just did like some emotional releases into drawing, to make sure it didn't stick with me, all those emotions, because I didn't have an ugly cry while we were on that walk.
I
And
did.
so I had to like release that, because I was holding it in, right? So I had to release that. So yeah, I did that through drawing. And I'm just really feel blessed that I have all these outlets, because I know before I didn't. And so yeah, and talking to people is so important. So MJ.
Okay. For me, I guess when we talk about, yeah, like for me, handling and going through the things that I have in my life, and looking towards what worked for me in my healing. First was sewing and dancing when I was younger. Yeah, that really saved me, and I don't know, I'm totally thankful for that part of my life. It opened up so many opportunities, healthy, positive opportunities for me, and for the path that, you know, that led me here. Right now is my language. Well, ceremony for sure. But definitely the language and being outside, learning about the medicines, learning about the land, how I'm connected to this place, because from what I've learned, you know, healing those parts of us that have been affected by trauma or anything that has hurt me. That's how I try and help myself, is I fill it with those things that I have, those questions, is like why this happened, or why is this the way that it is, and then I try and find the answer within either going back and restoring my those parts of me, like with the language, is huge. And yeah, to the land, how I'm connected to Treaty 6 and Treaty 8, and my relations down south now as well. So yeah.
Thank you. I'm just gonna let you guys know we have 5 minutes left and that's it. Okay.
So part of the stuff that I do for healing is I love to listen to music and I like to play online gaming. Just kidding. But I do like to bead and I like to surround myself with positive people because I did just get sober since January. So that part of healing and loving yourself and kind of surrounding yourself with people really does help. But when I got home, I just like kind of just grabbed my son and went to bed with a big bag of chips. And then, yeah, but that's part of the healing is being with strong other people that want to help too. And that
We do have another question.
Yeah, go for it.
Why is this happening? And how, like, what are the answers? Why is this happening? So
That's been, I guess, all of our question right from the beginning, you know, like, why is this happening? Like, I guess, like with some of the research that I've done, the first contact, there are a majority of males that came to North America, and women had already been fighting feminism for hundreds of years overseas. And so when the men came over, they had that the mentality that women were less than. And so it just kind of perpetrated over time, like with our Indigenous women and our Indigenous men, and our people being seen as less than because we didn't come from a Christian society. And then it just, I think that, like, for me, that's where I see it stemming from, and we still have to do so much healing with that, and teachings, because there's so many people that don't know. So thank you for that question. Does anyone else want to join?
totally. I love answering these questions.
Yeah.
What's happening? Well, it started with the Romans. Like Jamie said, the historical trauma, like actually, like I studied a lot of history just trying to figure this out too. And it started with the Romans invading other countries and oppressing other countries. I'm going to make this as fast as I can because we only have like 2 minutes left. And so they started invading other countries and oppressing them. And then people accepted it. And it's really sad because I see our own people now, a lot of our own Indigenous people, there's a lot that are resistant to it, but there's a lot that are just giving into that colonization and trying to oppress the other Indigenous people that have been resistant to it. And so I see that, and it's been really hard and difficult and breaking me like inside, because I see a lot of the crabs in the bucket mentalities and things like that. So really, why is it happening? It's because of the systematic oppression that has been around since the time of the Romans, and it's worked. And so how do we beat a system that has worked like that? Right? And
For
so
sure.
that's the question, how do we beat that system? That's my question anyway.
How can we beat the system? Like,
Yeah.
if we all work together, you know, like that's what the secret is we all need to work together.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
hello.
Yeah. So is there any last comments that you ladies want to see? I see that there's like 1 minute left.
Yeah, there is. It's only 1 minute left. And there's some people that shared, I just want to share a little bit about their healing, and they just listen to native music, they pray music, connecting with the land. One here, stay strong and connected. And we will definitely do that. I don't know if it's okay with you guys, but before I finish anything, especially something so deep like this, I like to end it off with at least one positive word. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's start with you, Jubilee.
Love. Just kidding. My word. My positive word is love.
Connection.
Beautiful. Kindness.
There you go.
And I'm gonna pick, there's this one word. Wait. Let me just pull it up. Tapwaywen. Tapwaywen. It means truth.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you so much, ladies, and thank you for our people that joined us today. And thank you to the Native Wellness Institute for hosting these sessions. And we hope to see you again. And look for our Facebook page that we're going to be starting later on.
yeah. So when we have it created, we can share it onto this page. We'll ask them to share it on their page so that you guys can follow it when we create it. But it won't be till
Yes.
after the ceremony.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you. And Gitamatsin, Gitsigako, thank you. We'll see you again, and love you.
Yes. Thank you all, Nanas.
I don't know if we just freeze or we just hey.
I think we just leave. I think that's what we do.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to leave
Leanne
it.
and everyone at the Native Wellness Institute.
Yes. Thank you very much for having us. It means a lot. Okay, we'll see you guys.
Bye.